In a world that is facing unprecedented challenges,
the earth is not healthy. We have to think about what we are consuming and where it's coming from.
communities are organizing to build a better future.
De las abejas aprendemos esto, a estar en la línea y todos tener en cuenta o tener en común una sola cosa en beneficio de todos.
Technology is transforming old industries and providing tools to address our urgent needs.
我们在井下一共是有4条固定皮带，4条固定皮带呢是减少16人。
Creating solutions through innovation.
We decided to harness the old landfill. We say to the kids that go to the biogas buses, you are driving on your food waste from your grandfather.
And finding new paths to embrace a circular economy.
We've diverted 23 million pounds of waste from landfill across the globe, and we've distributed 80 million bars of soap to children, families, mothers in 127 countries across the globe.
Global Action Initiative, The Endless Harvest. Next.
Coal mines, the image that comes to mind may be a dark and dangerous environment. But coal mines in China have undergone significant changes in recent years, thanks to the introduction of 5G and artificial intelligence technology.
China is using green mining techniques to make its coal industry less harmful to the environment. A major coal production area in Shanxi province is using cutting-edge technologies to protect the environment and generate profit at the same time.
Miners go down the coal mine about 500 meters below the surface. Zhou Xiaolang has been doing this job for decades.
是咱们这儿那个关灯某些煤化700几枚高都区足采的副队长，日常工作就是检修和维护足采设备，保证设备正常运转。
Zhou Xiaolang is the eyes and ears underground, while his colleagues monitor from the surface.
去联系皮带，皮带现在开有点问题，开不起来。
哎，你好，举工。
好啊。
啊。
那个皮带是咋回事？
皮带几个来？
哪一个？就下山的是吧？
嗯。
咋来了？你要。
地面上不好。
那个有人处理吗？现在？
电工下家了，快到位。
对，所有的作业环境必须得检查到位。往对。
现在开不成。
啊，下山皮带上有点故障，咱们电工下来正准备处理，我出去看看。
问题倒不大的问题，然后今天这问题都不过了，是吧？
哦。
要地方地没卫生或者他也注意安全啊。
哎，好的。
Smart coal mines have emerged across the country, increasing production capacity and also improving the work environment for miners.
In the West, many people are anti-climate change or anti-environmental measures because they actually think it will damage growth, it will harm jobs. But China's learned that green technologies, investment in climate change activities, and new approaches can actually create jobs. So it's not necessarily a growth inhibiting strategy, it can be complementary. More people in China realize that you can actually use climate change and the promotion of green technologies to promote innovation and growth. It's not necessarily an impediment.
Bees pollinate a third of our food and 80% of flowering plants, but they're under threat from climate change, toxic pesticides, disease, and increasing habitat loss.
Bees are an integral part of our planet's ecosystem, as one of the world's most important pollinators of food crops. Some consider they contribute billions of dollars to the food sector.
Las abejas son importantes porque son las más polinizadoras que tenemos en nuestro planeta. Sin las abejas no podemos existir. No había alimentos, no habría frutas, no había nada, porque ellas son la mayor cantidad de polinizadoras, son ellas. Mira, aquí ya está full, Uy, esto está full. Esto está full de miel. Es algo que tú vas a un apiario, tú entras a una colmena, la destapas. Es algo como que nutre a uno, ver cómo ellas trabajan, cómo empiezan desde cero, cómo hacen sus reinas, lo organizadas que son. O sea, es algo que enriquece a uno como persona. Mi nombre es Suri Sadaya Costa Silgado, tengo 24 años, soy socia de la Asociación Abejas y Miles de Carberías.
In Colombia, bees have also taken on another important job, helping artisanal and small-scale gold mining families find other sources of income.
No tengo nada en contra de la minería, es un trabajo que ha venido desde muchísimos años, que parte la economía de acá prácticamente es un 80% de la minería. Pero para el futuro de mi hijo no me gustaría que él trabajara allá. Ya los niños van como que solamente pensando en plata, ganaron plata, quieren seguir ganando plata, no buscan estudiar.
Small-scale gold mining accounts for 80% of Colombian gold exports. Unregulated gold mining is an important part of the economy, especially in some rural areas. But many miners are showing signs of health problems from exposure to toxic chemicals.
Cuando yo era minero, un día, como siempre, tiene uno que, minero para ir a trabajar tiene que madrugar y es todo el día el trabajo, o sea, que es un trabajo fuerte, mojado todo el día y a veces hasta en la noche. Y hay veces que le toca en la noche también. Entonces es algo difícil, algo duro para uno, porque eso, trabajar uno mojado, eso desgasta mucho a la persona.
The use of mercury is taking a toll. It's not only toxic for the miners, but it also pollutes the environment when released into the rivers.
Para ninguno es un secreto que la minería es la parte más fuerte económica de acá de la región y que en conclusiones, cuando hemos hablado con ciertos mineros, nos dicen a nosotros que lo que sacan, que lo que se van a ganar en un mes o trimestralmente, en el caso de nosotros que sacamos cosecha cada 3 meses, lo que se van a ganar en 3 meses ellos se lo pueden ganar en un día. Por ejemplo, si yo me gano, libre me gano 2 millones de pesos en 3 meses, por decirlo así, ellos en un día se pueden ganar 2 y 3 millones de pesos. Entonces es algo que es difícil sacar a la gente, concientizarla de que el daño que le causa al medio ambiente, el daño que causan a través del mercurio a la salud.
In 2009, the International Organization for Migration began to support communities in their search for alternative livelihoods. 120 families decided they would work in beekeeping to develop honey for sale.
Habiendo ya participado mucho en el tema con los compañeros, ya le fui perdiendo el miedo, fui aprendiendo muchas cosas interesantes de la apicultura, de las abejas, su trabajo, cómo lo hacen, y me fue interesando mucho y ya le perdí el miedo. En estos momentos, para mí, que estoy trabajando en un área que no es la apicultura, yo hay momentos que quisiera estar en un apiario trabajando con la apicultura. ¿Por qué? Porque yo siento que cuando yo me meto a trabajar en la apicultura, siento que es como una terapia que recibo, porque me desconecto de todo lo del mundo, prácticamente el exterior, y me concentro a trabajar con las abejas.
Working in this agenda is about keeping development options open, because if you have a coastline that has eroded, if you have an aquifer, groundwater that is depleted, those are resources that you won't have tomorrow. Working on so-called environmental issues is about keeping development options open for economic well-being, for social well-being.
Millions of Nigerians have fallen into food poverty in the past 2 years. Nigeria-based Commodities Exchange, AFEX, estimates flooding and other factors will cut maize output by 12% year-on-year.
Nigeria relies almost exclusively on rainfall for agriculture. This leaves the country's farmers vulnerable to land degradation. Low crop yields affect not only the farmers, but also 70% of the Nigerian population.
The major challenge I've discovered for small-scale farmers in Nigeria has been irrigation and then poor inputs. Climate change is something that very, very unpredictable. And so poor reservoir facilities that could reserve water during the excess rain, and then also ability to recharge the farm during the drought. So lack of that knowledge, which are some of those things we are trying to bridge at Food Data, educating them appropriately, and also making available facilities that would help them.
I want to welcome you all once again, and also apologize for the weather. One of the things that we've been mentioning on the mitigating the effect of climate to avoid some of the challenges we had last year and then early this year with rain. So I don't know, are there any challenges we have with climate or issues that anyone wants to mention?
We have many challenges about climate. The rain is not start earlier. We farmers, we are request or appeal for irrigation,
okay,
so that our crop and others will do better.
Okay. We've created an application that would help inform decision making. And one of the things we also look to get, which our extension agents will be using information on your planting, your timing, and then your weather and your seeds that were used. Because this will help us inform better decision on what to do and how to attend to you on that. So before I leave, like I said earlier when we started, now this is one of the reasons why we have to talk more on climate change. The weather readings for today does not bring an expectation of rain. But unfortunately now, it has dribbled us. Now, if we have not prepared ourselves in mitigating this, when this comes, what will happen is flooding. So we have to work on mitigating this, working on getting this done as early as possible as smart farmers, so that our produce will not suffer, our crops will not get flooded, and drought will also not kill them. And that is why this is essential, and together we can get this done. Thank you so much for your time. Great farmer, no farmer, no nation.
The challenge is basically this: we need to produce 50% more food with 2/3 fewer emissions, and at the very most on the same area of agricultural land. Okay, so how do you do that? Is it possible? Well, the answer is probably yes if we really work at it. There are ways to increase crop yields, there are ways to raise livestock more efficiently. One of the key themes of the report is we should really think of every hectare of land now as sacred. We have to use it well. It cannot be wasted.
Plastic production keeps growing globally at a rapid pace, and the majority of it becomes waste that ends up in landfills or in the environment. A new study has put together 40 years of data looking at the amount of plastic particles in our oceans. It's revealed a dramatic increase since 2005, with the amount of plastic waste ultimately reaching more than 170 trillion on average. The research argues that number could nearly triple by 2040 if no action is taken.
Orlando, Florida is one of the world's tourism capitals, with more than 70 million visitors each year and more than 130,000 hotel rooms.
One of the joys of being here in Orlando, it is a tourist capital. The Orlando market is the second largest hospitality market in the United States, second only to Las Vegas. So we are a huge, huge market.
This industry contributes to around 1% of all the global carbon emissions through the use of water.
The hospitality industry uses a lot of products. For many years, they've used that single-serve lotions, soaps, body wash, shampoos, conditioners. You've all seen them, you've taken them home with us. One thing that we're actually moving to as an industry is the bulk amenities. So you actually see in our guest rooms, we have like the shower gel and the shampoo and conditioner in our bathrooms that are that full size.
Now the industry is trying to reduce its footprint, cutting back on single-use soap and embracing recycling.
It's a stressful job because you have to work on time. Every day the clock is ticking because you have to have all rooms ready by a time, so when everybody arrives, have the rooms ready and they don't get mad. So right now I'm inspecting. I need to be everything without dust, no hair. I check here if they don't reuse the linen. They cannot reuse linen. They have to change every bed and put in every bed new and fresh linen.
Many hotel chains work with Clean the World in an effort to go greener. They collect the soap used and left by guests and send them to Clean the World to be recycled.
So this person had this idea, a great idea, to collect all those soap that we throw away daily, because I don't know how many bars you can throw daily, more than 100 in a hotel, and create this amazing little bar of soap that will save the life of somebody.
So soaps, lotions, conditioners, shampoos, all that fun stuff. Whatever the guests don't use, they collect them and then they recycle it. One thing that I appreciate about the Clean the World program is that the soap is then sent to people in need of it. And so it's not just, hey, we're saving soap and shampoo and plastic bottles for the landfill. It's actually, we're sending these products to people who need it. I really do feel that as we have changed and adopted Clean the World, as well as going towards bulk amenities, we as an industry have certainly changed quite significantly.
Our reliance on single-use plastics really took off during the rise in plastic production. I mean, it's a relatively recent phenomenon, but today half of all plastic that's produced is intended for single-use plastics. So we need to really stop using plastic for single-use purposes to move away from that. That will certainly help with the demand for plastic, and that's something that we can all do, is to eliminate single-use plastics from our lives.
So climate change taking a major human, economic and environmental toll on the fastest warming continent in the world. Europe has been warming by twice the global average since the 1980s.
Besides hunting and fishing, Greenland has very little domestic production. To be more sustainable, some Greenlanders are finding innovative ways of building a greener future.
Sustainability has been around for some time in other parts of the world, and it's something that we want to implement in this country, and we're trying to motivate other people to do the same as us. My name is David Trondheim, and I'm the manager of Wild Food.
Wild Food allows customers to see when hunters and fishers are going on a trip and pre-order meat and fish.
What we have sold most of is probably cod, redfish and halibut. We've also been selling a lot of seals, sometimes whales, but it's very rare. Hunters and fishermen know how much people have ordered. If you, as a fisherman, know that people have pre-ordered for up to 100 kilo, then you know that you only need 100 kilo instead of catching for 500 kilos for maybe the same pay or even better pay. Hunters and fishermen, it's more sustainable for them if they get more for what they catch, so they don't need to catch more than they need. The benefits for the consumers or customers is that it's as fresh as it can get.
Hi. Okay.
We like to think that people want to know what's the history behind the food.
Sourcing ingredients locally can be challenging for Greenlanders.
Everything is imported from Denmark to Greenland. So everything is in shipping containers. It's good for economy to be more self-efficient. My name is Nabartok Petrusen. I'm CEO for Sesuma Sea Salt. Sesuma means the deep in Greenlandic. It's also where the mother of sea.
Instead of importing salt, Sesuma Salt produces it in Nuuk by harvesting it from the waters off of Greenland's coast.
We have to rent a boat and sail away from the city. And we collect it in big gallons, 1,000 liters gallons, and filter it for microplastic. We produce salt for consumers, and we also have some salt with herbs from Nuuk Fjord. And this is Arctic thyme, and this have a really nice smell to it. This one is cranberry, where we mix the cranberry liquid with sea salt, so you get this kind of ruby color for the sea salt.
Sesuma Salt Factory also uses local, renewable resources for its electricity. The factory is made of shipping containers situated next to the city's incinerator. The excess heat from burning waste supplies energy to power the plant.
The earth is not healthy. We have to think about what we are consuming and where it's coming from.
I think it's really important that we all remember that everything is connected. I think quite a lot talks about what's happening in the Arctic, but we need to be aware that everything is connected. So what's happening in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic, but also that what happens in the rest of the world doesn't stay there either. I think we are very focused on talking about what happens in countries instead of what's happening on Earth.
Qipanjing Coal Mine is operated by a 5G intelligent mining system.
那这个呢是搭建了整个的这个，第一个就是使数据协议标准化，在数据中台侧，然后 AI 核心平台呢，就是我们从一开始就开始学习井下的各种场景啊，各种各样的这个学习能力，就 AI 的学习识别能力。第三一个就是 5G 的无线通讯的一个打通，这个呢是就相当于建了一个信息的高速公路，啊，就改变以前的这种带宽啊，包括时延不满足啊，那这些我们就相当于打通它的任督二脉。
Ding Shuyang is testing the new system.
现在目前为止，在东区对接了多少系统啊？咱们这边？
目前咱们接入了有23个系统。
The Qipanjing Coal Mine recently completed a tech upgrade. Ding Shuyang is in charge. And he comes from a family of coal miners.
我第一次下井是在19周岁的时候，家里边也是3代煤矿。从我姥爷那一辈开始就是在煤矿服务，然后我爸爸也是矿上的人啊，矿上的煤矿工人，所以呢，我对煤矿也有一些情结啊。就是他们那一辈下井的这个矿洞啊，2个人身子差不多宽啊，下去的时候，然后都是手提肩背，然后煤层就也没有什么大型设备，都是拿镐子在刨啊，是这种，然后也非常的危险，因为当时的通风技术不是很好。井下有瓦斯啊、冒顶灾害啊，这些都非常严重。尤其我还是东北人，东北的矿井都比较深，啊，这种灾害也是稍微大了一些。但是呢，就是从我父亲这一辈开始，稍微好一些，就是通风啊，包括巷道的标准呀，啊，这些就构建了就是我们现代煤矿的一个基本雏形。然后我这一代就是做了智能化的一个建设，啊，也是比较巧的一个历史进程。
New technology is helping miners keep in communication with the outside world at all times.
这个就是射频拉远单元，它接天线，这是打信号的。啊，咱们井下巷道内部的这个基站都是这样的。在这个平直的这个巷道里边，它这个对线缆的这个折损是有要求的。所以说呢，我们最好还是用无线通讯的方式满足这个1000多米的皮带巷的巡检啊。所以说采用的是5G 的无线传输。我们每一条皮带是4个人，每一条皮带是4个人进行巡检。那么这一个机器人上了之后，在我们这个主井皮带是一共减少4个人。我们在井下一共是有4条固定皮带，4条固定皮带呢是减少16人。因为我们在整体的主井采用的是5G 700兆频段的覆盖，因为在通信领域内，它这个频段越低，覆盖的范围就越广。那么正好在这个场景内适合我们的5G 700兆啊去应用。一呢是保证我们工业控制的时延在7到8毫秒；2是满足我们所有的这个气体信息以及5G VONR 的这个高清的语音回传啊，所以说采用的5G 700兆进行它这个5G 网络回传。
Thanks to 5G, underground inspections are done with robots and sensors, reducing the risks for exposure to harmful chemicals inside the mines. These workers are specialized in keeping the systems up and running.
你好，处理一下5G 故障，给我开一下中央变电室的门。哎，好的。
是有什么故障吗？
基站光路有故障，我们要排查一下。
啊，我看见闪红灯的就是有告警的，出现故障的这个位置是吧？
对。
啊，咱们井上是给先发了告警，然后给你们派的工单，然后下来再。啊，好的。这个告警一直到你们下来经历多长时间了？
经历了20分钟。
20分钟，好好好。
全部运输机准备启动，请工作人员注意。
can't actually grow very rapidly by trying to produce only the most sophisticated goods. So you have to actually innovate in a way that's suitable for your labor force, your environment, your conditions, and your market. So I think this is the challenge for China. It wants to move into strategic industries, high-tech products. These are all forms of innovation. Now China is likely to be very successful because its workforce and its consumers are very open to innovation.
According to an assessment by Interpol and the United Nations Environment Program, illegal mining accounts for up to $48 billion a year in criminal proceeds. And one of the areas most affected in the world is South America.
In the Bajo Cauca region of Colombia, this alternative to mining has spread and is gaining strength.
Si hablamos a nivel de región, podemos decir de que ha aumentado el número de familias que están trabajando en el tema de la apicultura, que se han metido a este tema porque han visto allí una forma diferente de ganarse, por decirlo, el diario vivir o ganarse la vida. Puedo decir que si no hemos llegado, si no estamos poquito a llegar a ser más de 1000 familias en el Bajo Cauca antioqueño que estamos participando en la apicultura.
As the communities show their commitment, the need to support an upscale operation is growing.
La apicultura da no solamente la miel, la apicultura tiene muchas otras cosas, muchas otras propiedades, pero hay algo que nos detiene a todos y es el tema de la comercialización. No tenemos un aliado comercial que sí o sí nosotros sacamos el producto y nos lo compra enseguida. Hay compradores de miel que nos compran un producto y demoran hasta 3 meses para pagarlo. Entonces, a base de cómo está el tema de la comercialización, nos hemos apoyado en otra actividad. En este caso, la actividad que tenemos más a la mano es la minería. Entonces, por eso todavía vemos mucho que estamos apoyados de la minería y trabajamos el tema de la apicultura.
Despite the challenges, the villagers are thankful for the new income and safe from the unregulated mining.
Antes de empezar con el tema de la apicultura, pues nos daba igual cuidar o no cuidar el medio ambiente. Nos daba igual de cortar el árbol, tirarlo, y eso nos daba igual. Que la abejita, si había que echarle veneno, se le echaba y eso daba, pues igual, no nos daba. Pero un cambio, ya no, la gente no busca matarlo, como se solía hacer antes. Ya no busca a envenenarlo, a nada de eso. Ya lo que hacen es cuidar, a llamar antes y decir, venga, recojan esto que están acá, que no nos dé cómo hacemos, cuándo vienen. Entonces nos han ayudado, o sea, la gente ha aprendido eso.
Más que todo es por preservar y cuidar el medio ambiente. La minería poco a poco va acabando nuestra región, nuestro ecosistema, nuestra fauna, nuestra naturaleza, y el tema de la apicultura trae muchas otras oportunidades, por lo menos lo que le hemos apostado muchas veces, que es al tema de la reforestación en las áreas degradadas por tema de minería. Entonces sí, es por eso, o sea, básicamente es eso lo que nosotros tratamos de hacer.
Those families continue to scale up their projects, and just as patiently as the queen bee, they are learning to dream big and work together.
Tenemos que aprender de las abejas el sentido de pertenencia, el trabajar en unión, mejorar la calidad de vida, que ellas hacen un trabajo muy bonito. Ellas tienen, como todos, pues tenemos un jefe, ellas tienen su jefe y no se salen de la línea en que ellos están. Entonces nosotros los seres humanos tendemos a estar cada quien por su lado y no es lo correcto. De las abejas aprendemos esto, a estar en la línea y todos tener en cuenta o tener en común una sola cosa en beneficio de todos. ¿Qué es lo que hacen las abejas? Trabajan todas en común por un solo objetivo. Entonces, si trabajamos de esta manera, yo creo que nosotros podíamos lograr de que ya estas tierras con el tiempo ya no se degradara más, ya fueran mejorando y por ende mejora nuestra calidad de vida.
What we're trying to do is rebuild the soils and protect the water sources and have resilient watersheds and understand the importance of pollinators and protect their habitats. So as you start to look at it in a much more integrated way, in a systemic way, where nature becomes your partner, your counterpart, without going into the complexities of the very deep cultural and spiritual connections that are also embedded in that, but just from a very practical perspective, which is to move from an extractive model to a regenerative model. That is the way that we guarantee the foundations and the conditions for continued growth, because we need to grow global food production by 60% by 2050 to meet global demand, and we can't do that under current conditions.
Back in Nigeria, Amos is traveling with his team to visit another group of farmers. While reviewing data, they realized the farmers didn't know much about climate change or existing solutions to the issues affecting their crops. They created an app that collects information from farmers, but also gives them access to alternatives to address some of the challenges they are facing.
We discovered that one of the challenges with smallholder farmers in Nigeria is data. Now, there is inadequacies of data to inform decision making. We took our statistics to find out what they know, and we discover they know little or nothing about some of the recent developments in the modern farming or smart agriculture. The app is one major solution in the data collection. So using this data that we collect in the community, even from the farmers and loggers, we forecast and predict future occurrences, what is to be and what is not to, and make viable decisions and suggestions and counsel that will help farmers. Now, using this app, you will be able to upload your information, and the data you provide to us, we will solely receive it at our backend, on our website and our database. Okay, your location is also being tracked, so wherever you are at that point, at that moment, we'll be able to know exactly what it is. So if you want to show us something on your farm, you can just take a picture from the app. We'll be able to see it and know what is going on. You can give us your planting data, what you are planting at the moment. Just click on this arrow. So you put in the size of the land, the quantity, and the date you are planting it. You're planting today, you set the date. Right, so once you submit that, we'll receive this on our end. You want us to give you information, you can contact us, or you can give us a feedback. I need fertilizer urgently. Sending, we'll receive it almost immediately and give you a call back, to tell you how you can get what you need from us.
If this information is being sent to you now, is there any nearby office that we can run to?
The app is not replacing our extension officers. The only thing this app is doing is lessening the work of our extension officers, and especially for emergencies when we are not available, our extension officers are not available. The app is very easy and self-serving.
Odeyale Kunle has been a farmer all his life. He and his family rely on the sale of maize. But in recent years, changes in temperature have resulted in smaller yields.
Climate change affected my farm last year drastically, and as a result of that, I was unable to get enough money from the farm, because all the plant I plant on the farm, then everything dries up because the rain stopped abruptly. So it was during that period that I got to know about the food data. When I start working with food data, what I learned is that when they supply all these things, it resists the climate change. When there's change in climate, plants are able to survive.
trash to cover Texas twice over. A garbage collection double the size of that entire state, 3 times bigger than France. 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic, say researchers, or 250 for every human on the planet. 80,000 tons and growing way faster than expected.
Back in Florida, volunteers are hard at work triaging the used plastic bottles from hotels to bring the usable ones back into circulation.
This is our volunteer area where our volunteers are going to be sorting soap and boxing soap. They're also going to help us sort all the plastic out. As you can see over here, hotels are starting to make a transition to large format closed loop bottles. These are large bottles coming out of Hilton properties. We are deliquefying it. We're recycling all of the liquid and recycling all of the plastic into a circular plastic scenario as well. So very important. Not only is it the large bottles, but as you can see, it's these small bottles as well that are still the single-use amenity bottles that are being used. You can see we've actually got an inbound shipment right now, so all the soaps and bottles are coming in from hotels across the United States. It's important for hotels and the hospitality industry to implement programs that reduce waste, reduce water, reduce energy use, simply because they have a lot of it. And over the last year, travel and tourism has hit an all-time high. Post-pandemic, there's a lot of pent-up demand to get out. Well, that demand is now being seen. And so the amount of waste, environmental damage, water damage, et cetera, is also at an all-time high. But we are seeing really good trends in the hospitality industry where hotels are implementing new programs and initiatives, just like the Clean the World Recycling Program, that are designed to reduce waste and to help the environment and to help socially.
Each bottle counts. And at the end of the cycle, the results are quantifiable and material.
So this is our impact station. Each day, UPS delivers our packages from the hotel, from our hotel partners. We bring it over here to the impact station. This is where we're able to tell them exactly how much landfill diversion, how much soap they were able to donate, how much plastic they donated, and then how many bars of soap we're able to turn this soap into. And then we ultimately are able to tell them where in the country or where in the world we sent that to and who it impacted and how. And so what we're doing here at our impact station, our guys will take each box that comes in, we're going to scan the label, and that's going to tell us exactly what property this came from. We're going to weigh it, and we're going to put that into our portal, and it's going to say exactly how many pounds of soap, how many pounds of bottles, etc.
Clean the World charges hotels 50 cents per room per month for the service of receiving the soap and recycling them. This helps the hotels reduce their carbon footprint.
So we'll start with a bottle like this and eventually turns into this. So when we get the product into this state, that's where we're able to manufacture new plastic products. So if plastic wasn't being sent to Clean the World from our hotel partners, it would be ending up in a landfill, ending up in waterways, and just further polluting our environment and our local communities.
The impact of these initiatives is not only in terms of sustainability, but also saves lives under the most pressing circumstances.
But the real aha moment for Clean the World came when I did research and found that in 2009, when we launched, there were 9,000 children under the age of 5 dying every day to hygiene-related illnesses, pneumonia and diarrheal disease. #1 and #2 killers of children worldwide. And all these studies showed that if we just gave them soap and taught them how and when to wash their hands, we could cut those deaths in half.
Children of Haiti and the Philippines are the first to receive the recycled soap. But the idea is to reach as many developing countries as possible.
14 years later, we now have 8,000 hotels that operate our program. We recycle 1.4 million hotel rooms. We've diverted 23 million pounds of waste from landfill across the globe, and we've distributed 80 million bars of soap to children, families, mothers in 127 countries across the globe.
The shipment that our volunteers are currently working on is actually going in response to the volcano eruption in the Philippines. So we actually are wrapping up a shipment that's going to be 384,000 bars of soap that we will distribute to the Philippines.
We are seeing the impacts of climate change. We are seeing less water available. We are seeing the impacts on agriculture, on hygiene, on sanitation. Consumers want to see that companies' brand services are doing the right thing as it relates to environmental, social, and governance.
We don't want to get rid entirely of the plastic. We need to have products that we can use over and over again. We need to have products that we can reuse, that we know, and we can reuse it and reuse it. And we need to avoid these losses of plastics. But we should be a little bit more intelligent in using these plastics and not be so sloppy in using it. Because this sloppiness generates a lot of problems for the environment and for ourselves.
On the Arctic border, Iceland has made remarkable advances on the path to sustainability.
We're in Akureyri now. We get our electricity from this river who runs through town. We get our hot water from boreholes here in the fjord, and we get our fresh water from the mountain above. So we have all these green ways to live.
The people spearheading this initiative believe what's happening here can happen anywhere.
We have many projects, and the common thing about them was this environmental thing, reducing carbon emission, etc. And by putting together, people got the sense of the whole picture in a small town.
We have 11 recycling stations, small ones, all over town where people can take the things they recycle. And one of those is the used cooking oil. So we made this little funnel. We're trying to get people to use their cooking oil or the oil with the feta cheese or whatever and put it into a plastic bottle. And then they deliver it here and it gets turned into biodiesel. So they're making their own fuel.
We decided to harness the old landfill. So, like we say to the kids that go to the biogas buses, yeah, you are driving on your food waste from your grandfather.
Here is where the trash is turned into energy.
What happens in a landfill site when it's closed is that organic material decomposes and the byproduct is landfill gas. This landfill gas is around 50% methane. So we are collecting it and creating or processing domestic fuel for transportation.
The gas is collected at the site through holes that are drilled into the landfill.
This is a compost factory which takes bio-waste and turns it to compost. At homes, people put the bio-waste in a separate bucket, and companies, they also put their bio-waste in a separate place. And this is taken by the municipality and driven to this factory here. With this factory, we are taking about 4,000 tons of bio-waste and turning it to compost.
The project works as a filter that can reverse the effects of global warming.
When we are talking about all the projects we are doing, we're just asking people to do something small, just to start. If you start something, it really quickly gets into your habit.
We need some small steps and also some bigger steps to become carbon neutral and carbon negative in the future. We need to enhance innovation, and we have to use our resources responsibly, all to work towards sustainability.
The reason for global warming comes from outside the Arctic region. But what happens in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic. So when the glacier melts here, that will impact the low-level cities around the world. So we have to act. But again, I really truly believe that the Arctic has some of the solutions. The Arctic is full of renewable energy. That's also sustainable, doing the green transformation.
In Nigeria, Amos Odebisi is confident that introducing data to smart farming techniques can help villagers adapt to the extreme weather patterns. In Greenland, fishermen are working with local restaurants to create a sustainable economy while keeping their traditions. In Colombia, the Bajo Cauca beekeepers have big dreams for the future, hoping to be finally free from their dependence on mining. And in China, Zhou Xiaolong hopes that technology will keep the mine safe for future generations.
结录一些设备，现在变得都智能化这种这个安全系数提高了很多，但是需要的自身的能力也必须得提高，以及尤其那个电气设备、电子产品，更新换代相当快，你必须得掌握它的一定的知识，你才能维护了它、使用了它。